The four goddess phases I'm going to discuss. This term was coined, I believe, by Lisa Lister. She is a published Hay House author. So many in our society recognize three phases of women. What many of these teachers that teach Divine Feminine today actually reference. And so there are four recognized now, and we will also tie them to the seasons, just like we have the moon phases. Having said that, again, I'm going to do the four recognized, and they are the maiden, the mother, the wise woman, also known as the wild woman, or the crone. So I'm going to discuss these four. And I do identify with these four in my own world, in my own understanding and teachings. I have always seen it as four. The maiden is pre-ovulation when you're looking at the menstrual phase. This is a young female, young woman. She is enthusiastic and strong and independent and determined, usually excitable, hopeful, courageous. It's a spring energy, energized, boundless, and positive. And some of these terms I actually have borrowed from Rebecca Campbell, my teacher and mentor, that I am currently working with. But it's a spring energy again, so it's very much alive, excitable, hopeful, full of ideas. They're excited about their whole future. What will my future hold? All the possibilities, the endless possibilities. What she may lack in years, she has definitely plenty of in enthusiasm and a zest for life. And the maiden is the virgin, an innocent woman, an innocent female that can see the potential in everything. It's the part of the kind of the naive or innocent part of the female, but she's also a woman all into herself, one within herself. She still sees the magic in everything. She has not had the influence as belonging to or as a partner to or a partner of or with someone. So it's just viewed as a kind of a woman that is one into herself. And that is the very exciting, optimistic light side of the maiden. The shadow side of the maiden is that she is naive, she is self-centered. She's impressionable, inexperienced, usually lacking confidence, probably has an overabundance of ideas, and spends lots of time in thought, reflection, looking at passions and desires. A lot of times likes to start new things, not start new projects. Again, with all these ideas and the overwhelming abundance of them, it's easy to start a lot of things because you're so full of hope, so full of big ideas. But on the shadow side, it's very easy to become discouraged. They're not at a phase where they're fully grounded yet in their journey. There is definitely a tendency to overcommit or get involved in too many things. And again, this goes back to because they're very overexcited. Don't want to miss out on opportunities, the potential or possibility of things. So again, this is our spring season. And an element associated with the maiden and also with the season of spring is air. The moon phase, again, of spring is both the new moon or the waxing moon, the onset of menses, the onset of getting your period or becoming a woman. To recap the maiden, it's a time of lots of ideas, passions, desires, a playful time, a time of dreaming. These dreams actually reflect what could be without any restrictions or obstacles or limitations. The sky is the limit for the maiden. The next phase, the next goddess phase, is the mother. This is the time of ovulation. This is the fertile part of us, the part of us that births things into the world for real. This woman is compassionate, and protective and nurturing, devotional, understanding, encouraging, and big-hearted. She's very committed to doing whatever it takes to get the job done. And she's able to take the energy and enthusiasm that the maiden has and turn that into a focused action. She's able to birth it, both life and creations, into the world. So physical human life, but this is also referencing any creation, any project that we birth to life, that we birth into the world. It's this manifestation of thoughts and concepts into form. This is the manifestation phase. Now, the shadow side of the mother is being very overprotective, smothering, very much so forgetting to look after herself because she's putting what she's birthing first, can become very codependent or controlling, can abandon others for the sake of what's being birthed, very prone to exhaustion and not knowing when to stop, not knowing when to take rest or take a break, and sometimes making others feel guilty for not needing her. She's very much in a phase of needing to be needed. This is the summer season because it's a time of being fertile. The element that we will talk about later is fire. The element is fire. The moon phase again of the summer season is the full moon. And some of the rites of passage for the mother is marriage or partnership and birth. Again, both in physical life and in projects, more metaphorically as in birthing a creation. This is a time that women usually will feel and look their best. They'll be very radiant at times. They're going to be very exhausted at times too in birthing. But a lot of times they're going to be very radiant, glowing. This is the time to commit what is rising within, for the woman to commit to what's rising within them and truly, fully making it happen, to launching or birthing whatever it is that they have rising within them. The third phase is known as the wise woman or the wild woman. It's been different cultures and different authors and different teachers call them. They kind of use those interchangeably. I've called it the wise woman for years before I found other individuals who spoke of it that way and taught it. The wise woman or the wild woman is the uninhibited woman, full of wisdom. She has already journeyed through maidenhood and motherhood. She knows who she is, and she is not afraid to live it, not afraid to be it, not afraid to show it, not afraid to reveal it. This is also called, in some cultures, the medicine woman or the healer. Also could be seen as a sage or a shaman. Sometimes referred to as a priestess. But she's very much a woman who is within her sovereignty. And again, a medicine woman or healer of others, of self and others. But again, she knows who she is and she will show it, not afraid to show it. She recognizes her inner medicine and her magic. She knows her worth, her value, and she is guided by her intuition and calls upon it regularly. She has a certain ruthlessness, hence the wild woman, because she can see through what is important and what isn't. And so she's pretty ruthless in her actions, in her steps, in her ways, in her lifestyle. You cannot pull the wool over her eyes. You cannot manipulate her. You cannot pull one over on her, so to speak. She knows her power, and she will demand you respect it. If you do push her or do not respect her, she will react, and it is not always pretty. She will make sure that she gets the respect that she demands. She is very fierce, and she is not afraid of what people think, not afraid of what to do in order to get what she wants or what she desires. The shadow side of her is she can be viewed very much as crazy, angry, jealous, vindictive, ruthless, impatient, blunt. These are some of the shadow sides of the wise woman or the wild woman. Her season is autumn or fall. The element is water. The moon phase is the waning moon. And some of the rites of passage are significant loss or mourning, such as death, loss of job, separation, an emotional ending, children leaving home, or being initiated by a mentor or a teacher. This is a good time, a good cycle within a woman's life to let things go, to kind of refine, and again, think of it at the season was autumn, to refine, reflect, perfect, refocus. But it's also a time of celebration, to dance, to sing, to do whatever is needed to do to express and transmute feelings into passion. It's a wonderful time to declutter your life, negotiate fiercely, protect your boundaries, and create powerful and authentic work. And the fourth phase of the goddess is the crone. In ancient cultures, the crone was highly, highly revered. But in today's society, it has been taught and kind of shifted in a way that the crone is not always given the reverence that she deserves. She is the wisdom keeper, the one who has the ultimate perspective and has nothing left to prove. She is able to see with absolute clarity, and she can advise others in a selfless way, as she has no ulterior motives. She has a certain patience about her, having been through so much of it herself that she no longer cares what people think. She is most potent in her wisdom. She can see through any authenticity, and she has a certain purity as well as the maiden, but it's not from a place of innocence. It's just a purity from working through the various phases and experiences of her life, because now she's closest to Source, and she is in a space of surrender to life. The shadow side of the crone can be brutal. She can become a hermit or crazy, unforgiving, judgmental, bitter, lonely, self-pitying, or defeated. Her season is winter. Her element is earth. Her moon phase is the dark moon. And her rite of passage is menopause. And this is the cycle in a woman's life, which is time to rest. You do not believe that you need to be active to be productive. This is a wonderful time where you make decisions and you get clarity on future projects, or to just be with the energy that is rising in you. It's a time to honor your body and listen to what it's telling you, not to push through and not to numb it, but to be with it and to honor it. Again, this is what unlocks the potent power within. Now, these 4 phases of the goddess cycle, which we've also here compared to the seasons, the elements, the moon phases, and given the rites of passage. These are not only gone through at the specific ages within your life, but also coincide, as I mentioned, with the seasons, with the moon phases, and with the elements. So at any phase in your life, say you are in a mother phase, you can still be going through some experiences, perhaps when you're in a season of winter, as I mentioned, and in the dark moon, you could also be experiencing some aspects of the crone phase. So these phases are not only specific to your age, you can go within many phases of these, many meaning M-I-N-I, many, short phases of these throughout the other cycles and seasons that you experience.